chapter of his career. Here's Simon Holt for the Champion Stakes.
It's the Kipco Champion Stakes. They're off. Via Sistina gave a little jump, leaving the stalls, was going to be dropped in from a wide draw. Baybridge going forward with Royal Rhyme, and then Point Lonsdale, who's cajoled along on the inside, and My Prospero coming through strongly in the blinkers for the first time. So quite a bit of competition for the early lead. Point Lonsdale round the inside of My Prospero, Royal Rhyme, and then 2 or 3 lengths to Baybridge, and they're followed by Horizon d'Or, who's a rather keen, the French challenger on the outside of Dubai Honor, Via Sistina, and Frankie's at the back on King of Steel. Heading right-handed at Swinley Bottom, and My Prospero just to the outside of Point Lonsdale. My Prospero leading under Tom Marcon. Point Lonsdale second. Royal Rhyme is third. Then Baybridge close up in fourth on the outside of Dubai Honor. Horizon d'Or settled a bit better now behind these, followed by King of Steel. And they head up the hill towards the final 5 furlongs. Via Sistina still towards the back with King of Steel, and maybe the pace just slowing down a little bit, sensibly so perhaps. My Prospero by a half length to Royal Rhyme. Point Lonsdale, Baybridge in a good position to try and double up from last year. Then Dubai Honor, Horizon d'Or, Via Sistina's on the outside in the pink sleeves. King of Steel and Frankie Dettori at the back of the field as they race on now towards the final 3 furlongs on the home turn. And it's My Prospero by a length to Royal Rhyme. Baybridge going up into third on the outside of Point Lonsdale. Then Horizon d'Or, Via Sistina is circling the field from Dubai Honor, and King of Steel now being pushed along down the run towards the finish, and Royal Rhyme looming up on the outside of My Prospero. Here comes Horizon d'Or with Via Sistina. Baybridge flattening out. Point Lonsdale. King of Steel is staying on from the back. Still got a bit to find though, and it's Via Sistina, the mare, who comes through to lead from Horizon d'Or. King of Steel is trying to reach them inside the final furlong. Via Sistina, here comes King of Steel under Frankie Dettori on the near side. Via Sistina by a half length. It's a neck, it's a head, and King of Steel, he gets up the win. He wins the champion, and Frankie Dettori, he salutes the crowd on his farewell ride, and his favourite racecourse is King of Steel. In the hands of Frankie Dettori from his second Via Sistina. She was worn down close to the finish, and they were away from Horizon d'Or in third, and in fourth Point Lonsdale.
If that is the conclusion to this chapter of this extraordinary career, then he'd better make sure that the epilogue lives up to it. That would be the perfect note on which to bow out. Frankie Dettori has delivered something magical on King of Steel. It looked likely never bar the final stride or two, but somehow he has guided and marshalled this big, bold beast of a horse to victory in the Champion Stakes. Via Sistina has given everything in second, the 5 grand mare. Horizon d'Or just touches off Point Lonsdale for third. But Frankie Dettori salutes the crowd, his Ascots, and if he does come back, he will never, never beat that for a finish. Wow.
Given the horse an absolute peach, hasn't he? 2 winners on the day. One from a handy spot, timing it right. One from last, timing it right. And so often these finishes don't bring around the fairy tale that you want, but this is Dettori, and of course he was going to do it, and he's given that an absolute blinder, and a really willing partner as well in King of Steel, who just steadily worked his way through, found a monstrous stride up the straight. It takes a while for him to get going, doesn't it? But once he was there, he was always steadily getting there, ears back, working hard, and just gets him home.
Brilliant run from Via Sistina, fully justifying Connection's decision to come here. But today, and there's been so much said and written about it, was always going to be about this man. Whether it is a retirement of sorts, whether it's the closing of this particular chapter in this storied career, whether or not he'll be back, this was going to be his day. He'll celebrate it tonight, and he's done it in some style. Ammo Racing's King of Steel wins the Kipco Champion Stakes.
Truly remarkable stuff. You couldn't make it up. You really couldn't. I think the one thing you've got to say is it was an absolutely brilliant ride. Judging the pace to perfection.
One of his best ever. It was fantastic. In a Group 1, the horse's first Group 1. It was far from Frankie's first Group 1. It was absolutely brilliant. And that crowd, they paid their money. I mean, it is great for racing, but I mean,